Welcome back, guys. I'm a little bit nervous and apprehensive to do this episode just because I'm going to be quite vulnerable, and this is a topic that I don't really discuss with anyone. But I'm building a community that's supposed to be a safe space, so why not be an example? I've been dealing with health issues for, I would say, about 9 years, and it has consumed my life at different points. So getting into the episode, basically, more than anything, I never actually imagined that I would have to spend my 20s learning medical terminology. Now, granted, I am a scientist, so yeah, but it's different when you have to dissect it based on yourself and understanding what this illness means to your own life. And I've been struggling with that for years at this point. But I've finally come to terms with, I'm just a chronic illness girly. I know that's like a trend on TikTok right now, but that's actually helped me get the confidence to start speaking about it and not feel ashamed at the fact that my day-to-days can be hell. So, before I tell you guys exactly what my health issues are and we get into that, I just wanted to discuss what chronic illness is and what autoimmune diseases are. So chronic illness is an illness that you have that lasts over a year. That's the definition. An autoimmune disease is a bit more complex. So I think there's over 80 different autoimmune diseases, and they all work in different ways. What an autoimmune disease is your body's defense is your immune system. And normally your immune system will attack any infectious diseases or any foreign antigens, scientific, anything foreign in your body, basically. With an autoimmune disease, what happens is your immune system attacks healthy cells, healthy tissues and organs, so your body's fighting against itself. And that leads to chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation can lead to a lot of different illnesses. So the common ones is diseases like diabetes, lupus, arthritis, MS. Off the top of my head, I'm trying to remember others. Psoriasis, I think Hashimoto's? Yeah, I think that's one. But like I said, there's over 80 known autoimmune diseases. And a lot of these diseases are seen as invisible diseases because when you look at the person, they don't actually look sick, but they're fighting battles on a daily basis. Now, I've got a few statistics that I wanted to highlight, just because obviously this is Lady Logic, so I want it to be very female focused. Men deal with autoimmune diseases and chronic illnesses, yes. Diabetes can hit anyone. However, we're talking about the ladies. I want this to be educational for us because systematically, the healthcare system does not care. We get diagnosed later than men. We're dismissed, ignored. That's why I'm focusing on us women. So, statistics. Autoimmune diseases affect 8% of the global population, but 80% of women are the ones diagnosed. So, 80% of us have autoimmune diseases in comparison to men. And then that led me to research, okay, what is the scientific reason? There must be a scientific reason as to why women are 4 times more likely to have an autoimmune disease. And what I found, which probably won't be of interest to anyone who doesn't like science, but basically, I'm still going to explain it. We have 2 X chromosomes, and from what I read, the 2 X chromosomes produce immune triggering molecules called X-cyst, and that can lead to inflammation, which obviously can lead to autoimmune disease. So that's a bit of science for you guys, if that makes sense. But let's talk about the social economical reasons, the factors that can affect women and why we are the 80%. So that chronic stress, fight or flight. A lot of women are living life fighting stress. Statistically, we carry unequal burdens to men. That's domestically and caregiving. Also, I wrote down that delayed diagnosis is normally the reason why our autoimmune diseases can be of dramatic effect Like, a lot of the time, if you get diagnosed young and you're able to figure out the medications that's good for you, you are able to manage your illness better than extreme cases. That's what I've learned. So, let's talk about the journey to diagnosis, right? So, let's get personal. Oh, I'm nervous. Anyways, so let's start with my autoimmune disease. I have rheumatoid arthritis. I also have something called benign neutropenia. And then I also have endometriosis. So I've been fighting this health triangle for a couple of years. So for rheumatoid arthritis, most women get diagnosed between 30 and 60. I was diagnosed at 27. And I would have been diagnosed earlier, but I'm going to get into that a little bit later as to why I was diagnosed at 27. But what was happening to me was I was chronically fatigued. In fact, sorry, let me go back to what's actually wrong with me. So, the rheumatoid arthritis, I'll explain. Benign neutropenia is when your white blood cells, you have less white blood cells than the average person. And every single blood test that I had, they were non-existent, basically. My doctors were so concerned, my consultant was so concerned. I was doing blood tests every 4 days, I want to say, for about 6 months. Yeah. Now, benign neutropenia is seen as harmless. Only time when it's not harmless is when you have another disease that's affecting your body, because your white blood cells work as your immune defense. So if you lack white blood cells, you ain't got nothing to fight against infectious diseases. You're just gonna be kaput. So yeah, that's what I've been going through. And then the endometriosis is a whole nother ballgame, which I'm gonna get into in another episode, because that's a whole nother topic. Yeah. So today we're gonna focus on arthritis, since we're talking about autoimmune diseases, and I want to be personal. Right. So what happened was, I would say in 2019, I was working in a lab and I was doing like water filtration. This was during uni. I think I was in my second year of uni, and it was in the summer. And I was like, from young, now that I've done my research, I know that I had something called, I think it's called juvenile, there we go, I've written it down, juvenile idiopathic arthritis. So as a child, I used to go to bed screaming and crying because I had the craziest leg pain. No amount of Calpol would save me. My mum and dad used to take me to the doctors on a weekly basis to figure out what it was. And I was told, well, they were told that it's growing pains. She's just having growing pains. It is growing pains. Now that I'm older and I know how to do certain research, I know what I was going through, especially because I have arthritis now. So what had happened, fast forward to 2019, I'm in the lab. Every morning I was waking up and my hands were like 5 times the size. My ankles were like 10 times the size. I would struggle to like get out of bed. I was so tired, but I had slept like 12 hours a day, and it just confused me. I would get up early for work. I'd start work at 5 a.m. because the commute was long. Get to work, and by the time I get to work, the swelling would go down a little bit. But then I would try and do the filtrations. Had to have to open caps on caps on caps. Guys, it would be like a small water bottle that's not even sealed, and I wouldn't be able to twist it. And I was so confused. Went to the doctors, got a blood test. They said I think it was my rheumatoid levels were high. I don't remember if they were high or low. I think they were high. Inflammation, my vitamin D, non-existent. So they put me on a high dose of vitamin D, and they wanted to do more tests on the rheumatoid stuff. Now, when they said that, I'm the type of person, if I'm told something, I'm researching it. I researched it and I saw exactly what it was, and I was like, yeah, I've got this. But I'm in second year uni. I've failed uni twice now. I can't afford to not pass. This house that I live in with my parents, my dad don't play that. If you don't finish uni, come out, basically. So let me focus. I will clock in. This illness ain't gonna get the best of me. In hindsight, I don't regret it. But I feel like if I had clocked in and realised, okay, cool, all this fatigue I'm feeling, the pain that I'm in, the pills that I'm popping is going to lead to a downward spiral. And it did. So Fast forward to 2024, I'm 27. The pain started getting really bad. I started going to the gym. At this point, that's when I put on the 30 kg. Skin was going crazy. I was vomiting daily for some reason. Like, I just wasn't well. Everyone kept saying to me, Naz, you're never well. Like, you're always sick. Like, I either have a cold and the cold is like wipes me out. Or if I haven't got a cold, I've got diarrhea. If I don't have diarrhea, I'm vomiting. Or I'm just exhausted to the point where going for a 2-minute walk would just finish. I'm kaput. So I went to the doctors, forced by my mum, and I mentioned to my GP, we did some rheumatoid tests back in 2019, and I think I need to pursue that a bit further because I think that's what my issue is right now. So that happened, finally got referred. That referral process, by the way, I had been trying to get referred for about 5 years. But at that point, I think because my mum was there, he was like, okay, cool. She's an adult bringing her mum to a doctor's appointment. Let's take this seriously. And he also was concerned at the rapid weight gain. It was like 30 kg in a matter of, I want to say, 6 months. I was waking up and my eyes were swollen to the point where like one would be closed, the other one would be... I'm laughing, it's really not that funny. Yeah, it was... When I look back, that stuff is very traumatizing, but I digress. Give me a second. So in the time when I was trying to... Sorry, I got a little bit emotional, but in the time when I was trying to get diagnosed and figure out what exactly was going on with my body, I would like be up at 2 a.m. in the morning because I'm in so much pain, researching my symptoms. I would be like going on the NHS website and putting in my symptoms and it'd be like, call 999 right now. Anyways, finally, consultant, whatever, confirmed I've got rheumatoid arthritis. They explained to me, you're going to have flare-ups, this is how it's going to work. I already did my research, so I already knew. Once I got it confirmed, it was kind of like, okay, cool, so this is going to be an uphill battle. So at that point, every 3 weeks, I was going to the consultant, having blood tests. Every 2 weeks, they started me on my medication. Now, the medication part was where things got a bit tricky for me because the first set of medication that they gave me, I reacted quite badly to it. I would break out in like hives. I would struggle to sleep for some reason. I would get chest pain. And it wasn't working for me. I remember I went on holiday and I just felt sick, like I couldn't do anything. And it was such a shame because it was a party holiday and I wanted to have the best time of my life. But anyways, that happened, went back. They tried me on some other stuff. Same thing happened. I don't react well to medication for some reason, but being someone who's got a lifelong disease and not reacting well to the treatment, that in itself is something that can just drive you crazy. So yeah, that's basically what happened. My biggest thing was trying to explain it to people. So like I said, I'm feeling uncomfortable even just sitting here talking about it on camera because I like to just dismiss it. Like, I'm focusing on it now and getting my health in check now, but honestly, people don't talk about the biggest issue, which is grieving the life that you thought you was going to live. And I was always someone who would like just love to be productive. I would get up, go, get up, go. In my house, my dad used to say, which to this day I still love this line, he used to say, the devil makes time for idle minds. So you need to be productive. Don't sit down and let shaitan get in your head about stuff. So I would constantly be on the go, whether that was playing football, whether that was... A lot of people don't believe me when I say I was semi-pro. I'm joking, I wasn't semi-pro, but I played professional football. A lot of people don't believe me. I was always into sports. I was a creative. So imagine if you're into sports, but you suffer from the worst joint pain in your legs. And then also you're a creative who likes to draw, you like to do fashion design, you sew, you're a tailor, but you can't sit down for longer than 10 minutes without your hip bones killing you. You can't hold a pen for longer than 10 minutes without your hands cramping. So these are the things that I've had to mourn and grieve. And at one point I thought I was never going to be able to do anything. Even just this, sitting down in a chair to discuss this with you guys. Like at one point recently I was like to my sister, should I just do this podcast from my bed, seeing as I can't leave it? Yeah, see, now I've started, there's so much of my brain's just ticking of things that I'm like, crap, I've been going through this. Like, I've been going through it. Anyways, another thing I was grieving was my old body. Like, especially when I put on the weight, I was like, oh my God. Everyone would take the piss as well because no one actually knew what I was going through. It was like, no, she used to be so petite. I'm like, yeah, I know. And at that point, I didn't even know what was going on with my body. So I just thought I was putting on rapid weight. But it made no sense to me because I wasn't eating crazy or anything like that. One thing that I have found myself struggling with is coming to terms with the fact that a lot of the hard work I've put in, I'm not going to see the benefits of it. And what I mean by that is I put in a lot of work to get into the career field that I'm in. But my body is my biggest hurdle. So I have been going through this thing, especially lately, where I won't call in sick because I could be okay today and the worst tomorrow. I could be okay for a week and then sick for 6 months. And explaining that to people who don't really understand because the awareness isn't out there is very difficult, especially when it comes to work. And with that, how do you explain to your employers that you're fatigued? Like you're exhausted to the point where even breathing is a problem. Sounds like I'm being dramatic, but if you have an autoimmune disease, you know what I'm talking about. Like, I have this thing of, I had this issue of hating being unreliable. Like, I show up, I'm always present, I'm there in a drop of a dime, whether it's work, whether it's personal relationships. I just can't anymore because my body says no. My body says no. And that is very difficult to come to terms with because so much changes anyway. And I spent so many years, I knew what I was going to do from GCSEs. Like, I specifically picked my university because I knew this is the easy way for me to get onto this course without having to stress myself out. Okay, cool, I'm not going to do A-levels, I'm going to do a BTEC because I know that BTEC is going to get me on this course, and then I get the degree and then I go do a master's. I did that. By the time I'd done the master's, guys, it's the same year that I got diagnosed. And I had a long 8-year plan. But you want to make God laugh? Telling me plans. But more than anything, the reason why I'm talking on this topic is just because I want to spread awareness and have people understand, especially with stuff like school and work. If people don't understand, my best friend is a diabetic and she deals with things so much better than me. I'm like, babe, we're both chronic illness girlies, but like, you're just, maybe I'm weak. Or maybe I'm just exhausted of having to mask. I mask on the craziest and then something bad happens. So we're talking about career. One good example I can give you guys is last year, in fact it was June last year, I had a mini stroke. Yeah, so I went to my GP and I said, the medication isn't working, I'm in so much pain. He said, okay, cool, there's this, I think it was like a steroid shot. I don't want to get it wrong, but he gave me some sort of injection in my batty cheek. And I had been against this injection for a long time because anything intravenous, I think that's the word. Anyways, you would think I don't flipping approve this stuff on a daily basis. Anyways, because the career that I'm in, I have to look at medication and really dissect it. I never wanted to take this injection, but I was at my wit's end with it, and I was just like, okay, cool, do you know what? If you're saying this will alleviate my pain, my symptoms, my joint pain, the fatigue, everything for about 6 months, let me just try it. What's the worst that can happen? Oh, the worst happened. It was the hottest day of the year, June 19th, I remember because it was my mum's birthday. My girl said, just go to a rooftop bar. We went there. I didn't know that that injection can lead to a heat intolerance. And the day started off fine. I felt so cute. Like, we was on a nice rooftop bar in Shoreditch. And I was like, I had one drink. And I was like, oh, I feel like woozy. And I thought, like, okay, maybe I'm getting heat stroke. Guys, that was not heat stroke. I had a mini stroke. And how it happened, I think to this day, my friend is still traumatized. I'm actually going to bring her on so we can discuss it. But it was the most scariest situation I have ever been in my life. And on top of that, it dominoed because from that day on, everything just changed for me. I'm scared to leave the house because I don't know what's going to happen. Like just yesterday, I went to central London to do a little bit of work and my brother and sister called me to link up in Selfridges. And I had to say, honestly, I don't think I can meet you guys because I'm feeling like I'm gonna faint. This fainting thing is getting worse, and just having to like figure out how life moves because you just don't have that flexibility. There's someone, her name's Christine Miserandino. I hope I said that right. Miserandino. And she has this thing called the spoon theory, and basically what it means is that, let's say you have 12 spoons, and that represents every task you have to do in a day. But you lose a spoon after you do every task. So let's say from the moment you open your eyes, that's 1 spoon you've lost. You might stretch, that's 2 spoons. You get out of bed, that's 3. So on and so forth, you brush your teeth, whatever. By the time you get to breakfast, you probably lost about 7 spoons. So that leaves, 5 spoons left for the rest of the day. When I saw her theory, I was like, she knows game. Because why is it that I will get to gym when I'm feeling good? I'll gym, do what I need to do at the gym. As soon as I get home, anything else productive, right off. I used to think I was lazy. I used to think it was like, no, Naz, like you just need to snap out of this. You're procrastinating, and it wasn't procrastination. It wasn't even burnout. I was genuinely just dealing with my symptoms, and coming to terms with that has made me feel a lot better because now I'm able to manage my day differently. If I have 12 spoons and I lose 7 by the time I get downstairs, okay, what is my priority for the last 5? And that's how I've been living. So if my priority is going to the gym, because gym makes me feel a lot better, okay, cool. I'm going to take my medication, let that kick in, and I'm going to go to the gym. If I get back around 1, because I work from home, if I get back around 1, what am I going to do? I'm going to chill out for a bit. I'm going to eat my lunch. Then the next 3 hours is where I'm going to use up the rest of my spoons. So that the evening is the time where I can recharge. And that is something that has really, really worked for me. So with all of that, because work is something that has really triggered me more than anything with this this situation I'm in, this health situation I'm in, because it's just like I worked really hard to get to where I'm at, and it kind of like just is in limbo and has been in limbo since my diagnosis. But I'm still pushing through, and you can too if you're going through it. Like, this shit is not going to define us. It's not going to define us. We're better than that. So the next thing I want to get into is a little bit triggering for me. Actually, it's not even triggering, but it's something that I haven't discussed with anyone. Maybe a little bit with my sister, but might be relatable to some. So I think it's good for me to touch on it. So I've written down here. I made notes just so that I don't go off track. Dating, friendships, and relationships while being a chronic illness girly. Okay. The reason why it's a bit triggering for me. In fact, let me talk on friendships first, because that I can deal with. I have a solid circle of friends, and the people who are not solid with me are the people who don't know what I'm going through, and I'm okay with that. Like I said, I used to be available for everyone, and through that I went through a lot of emotional distress, and there's definitely a link between emotional distress and autoimmune diseases, like suppressing feelings and autoimmune diseases. I think going above and beyond for a lot of people led to a lot of hurt feelings on my side, because I used to always say I don't have expectations of people, but lo and behold, no one's there for me when I need them, except for the ones that I consider my core friends. So my friends, no, like I mentioned, my best friend, she also has chronic illness, and she's the one, no matter what, checks in on me daily. I can go silent on her for 5 days or a whole week, but we'll never go longer than 2 days, I would say. She checks up on me, she makes sure, like, are you good, you're good. And those are the types of friends that I hold dear to me. I've got I think I would say I've got like 4 other people in my life that really make sure I'm good, I make sure they're good, it's bouncing. So managing friendships is easy, because that thing of, oh, let's go out, if I'm not feeling well, I'm not feeling well, but they understand that. The only people who don't understand that is people who don't take an interest in what I have going on, especially health-wise. And I'm okay with that. I think when I first got diagnosed, I was a bit upset, because it's like, okay, cool, I'm always there for people, but no one's even checking to see if I'm all right, and I've been in hospital for 2 weeks. And just because I don't publish it all over social media, if you was really my friend, you would be checking in on me to see if, like, just on a day-to-day, hi, like a little hi. And I'm not talking acquaintances, I'm talking friends. So with that, I just learned, all right, cool, I'll meet you where you're at. And it's important to get there, because you don't need that emotional, mental burden when it comes to that type of stuff on top of what you're dealing with on a daily basis. So friendship-wise, my biggest advice is that just make sure you maintain the friendships that work for you, that you're able to meet the person halfway and they meet you halfway. It doesn't matter what's going on. And that's what I was talking about when I said community. I mentioned this to my sister earlier, that we can't, as a society, cry that people aren't there for you or no one's checking for people. But when people make mistakes, it's like, okay, we're living in a time where it's like no one can make a mistake. So for me, I've had a friend that went radio silent on me when I was going through the worst part of my life. And as much as it hurt me, I'm the type of person that I can have a conversation with you and we can move on from it. And I'm okay. Like, we can still build a friendship depending on how bad you've done me. I used to give people grace and benefit of the doubt to the extent of my detriment. I don't do that anymore. But what I do is I still give people grace. I still give forgiveness when it's due. So with that, if you have a friend that hasn't been as supportive as you feel like they could have been, have a conversation with them, because you never know. You might not have let on. I know a lot of people that mask when they're ill. I'm one of them. You may not have let on to how bad your situation actually is and how much their absence has affected you. So that's a little piece I wanted to give there, because I've been through that and I'm on the other side with a lot of people. And honestly, right now, I don't know what I would have done without my group of friends in the last 6 months. Yeah. In fact, 6 months. One of my best friends is the reason why I'm sitting here talking to you guys, because if she wasn't there the day I had the mini stroke, she came to the hospital. She made sure I was all right. So yeah, that's that on friendships, dating and relationships. I feel like dating when you have a chronic illness is difficult anyway, because a lot of the time you're tired. And explaining that off the rip to someone, I was talking to someone recently and I had to just completely just cut them off, because they were calling me all the time. And that's not a problem. Like, you're showing interest, I appreciate that. But then don't catch an attitude when I don't respond, because 9 times out of 10 I'm sleeping. Or 9 times out of 10 I'm just trying to juggle everything that's going on and I just don't have time. Do you get it? There has only been one out of the bunch where it's like, ooh, he gets it. Because I'll go sleep and he's not getting upset that I haven't responded in 12 hours. And it's just like, ooh. Anyways, I'm exposing myself way too much. It's too early for that, guys. We've got to roll into getting to know me. But yeah, relationships are difficult when you're a chronic illness girly, because you're navigating a lot anyway. So now navigating someone else, that's why you need to meet someone who's going to meet you halfway. I know someone who's got a chronic illness, but her partner is so supportive, gives her that peace of mind, that blanket, that security blanket, makes her feel safe, makes her feel secure. And that was my biggest issue. I would always say, I just want to feel safe, I just want to feel secure with someone. I could care less about all of the other stuff. People talk about money and all of that stuff. It's never that deep, because realistically, when it comes to health, all that money goes out the window. All of that other stuff goes out the window. Safety and security is what a lot of us girls need and want, especially when your health is at risk on a daily basis anyway. So yeah, I still keep hope alive. It's just knowing that my illness is a progressive one is a bit scary when it comes to a relationship. But one thing I am a bit happy about, sorry, I'm in deep thought right now, which is not good for a podcast because it's supposed to flow. But one thing I am a bit happy about is that I've come to a place where I understand my flare-ups and I don't feel bad about my flare-ups. So right now I'm feeling really good. I'm back in the gym and I'm killing the game. But 2 weeks ago, I was bedbound for about 3 weeks. I went for a 5K on Sunday. Before that, I hadn't done a 5K for about 4 months because I was in hospital. So I'm managing things and I'm understanding it. And the more I'm coming to terms with, you have arthritis, you have these other issues, the more I'm like, okay, cool. Every day's an uphill battle, but I'm going to face it and I'm going to overcome it because I'm strong enough to do that. And realizing that I actually don't need to rely on other people's support. I just need to believe in myself has changed everything for me. I've been able to do solo trips all year. Oh, guys, I've been able to my confidence has come back tenfold, and I'm not scared of anything. I used to be scared to leave the house because I don't know what's going to happen. Am I going to have a fainting spell? Am I going to be in so much pain that I'm not going to be able to make it home? Like, I used to be so scared. Now, I just be taking risks, and whatever happens, happens. But to be honest, there's no risk. There's no reward without risk. So like I said, I've been feeling really, really good lately. That stint I had in hospital, it wasn't as dramatic as what I'm used to. What I'm going to say, guys, is a lot of things that have helped me is, one, therapy. I've been going to therapy since 2022, here and there. But from 2024, I've been going religiously. And the biggest thing that I've learned is implementing boundaries that work well for me. It doesn't have to work well for anyone else. If I say no, no means no. If I don't have capacity, I do not have capacity. You're going to hear me say that a lot, because that is one of the boundaries that I put in place to make sure everybody knows. And anyone who tries, there was someone who said to me, you have boundaries for me, but you don't have boundaries for anyone else in my life. One thing I've made clear to a lot of people is that your boundary depends on who you are with me. So if you're a habitual boundary stepper, your boundaries are going to be real high with me, or you're going to get cut off. And I'm going to give enough warning so that you know, because you are affecting my health. And this body that I'm living in, I only get one. And I want it to last as long as possible. In the last episode, I said I'm living really small for such a big world. Yeah? I'm not going to small myself because I want to live a big life. Right? What I do also is I do gentle movement. So I was in the gym last week, and a girl that I see there regularly, she came up to me, she was like, oh my God, I love what you do here, because I've noticed, like, you do strength training, but you don't go crazy with the weightlifting, like, you keep to, like, good weights. And I have my days where I'm like, oh no, I'm slapping these plates on this bar and I'm going to deadlift and I'm going to see how far I can push it. But I know when my body can do that, which is rare. What I do is I go to the gym and I do what I can and I do what works for me. Because what I'm doing is I'm not going to the gym to lose weight, I'm going to the gym to feel better. And this gentle movement that I'm doing, whether it's 15 minutes on the incline, on the treadmill, or I'm feeling good, my knees are feeling good, my ankles are feeling good, I'm going to go on the Stairmaster. But strength training has created another beast for me, and I absolutely love it. So with gym came the anti-inflammatory diet that I was on, which I'm going to get into in another episode with a nutritionist. But I went on the anti-inflammatory diet for about 4 months, and for 2 of those months I was eating purely organic food. And that, if you have an autoimmune disease and you have chronic inflammation, try an anti-inflammatory. Go and get a test, get a gut test, a blood test, and just see what things you're intolerant to, what things could you feel like nutrition based that affects you, whether you're lactose intolerant, whether you've got a celiac disease or gluten intolerant, anything like that. Just go check. So some people actually will eat eggs and they are allergic to it and they don't actually know. So yeah, I was on anti-inflammatory. That made a huge difference in my symptoms. And more than anything, my support system. I have great family and friends, but even if you don't have great family and friends, because I know some people struggle with that and don't have that, that's why I've created this platform. So if you feel like you're alone and you feel like no one relates and you want somebody to speak to, jump in my DMs. I want everyone to feel like they have somebody and they have support. Don't be ashamed. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's just what was written for us. Yeah? But just because it's written doesn't mean it's sealed. That was really corny, but you get what I'm trying to say. And lastly, I just know my body's cues now, and that does take a little while to understand. But like, for example, yesterday I went for a long walk. I also went to the gym. I did the Stairmaster. This is on a good day. And I started noticing, ooh, you're feeling it. Like, this isn't like gym ache. It's coming. So what did I do? Went home, took some painkillers, had a nap, chilled out, elevated my legs, had a cold bath, and yeah. So learning your body's cues. If I get a headache, I get an aura around me when I'm going to have like a really bad episode. So it does take a while, but start listening to your body, because then you'll start understanding certain things and you'll be able to catch yourself before you go into a really bad flare. Not saying that you'll be able to control it, because some people can't control it, but with the flare-ups, you'll be able to manage it a little bit better. That's what works for me anyway. More than anything, finding joy outside of my illness. I don't let this shit define me. It's not going to define me. Yes, I still struggle speaking on it and having this discussion with people and letting people know what's going on with me, but it's not my whole story. It's not. And that's one thing about this chronic illness girly trend that's going on social media. I love the awareness that it's creating, but at the same time, I don't want it to romanticize what we go through. And there's a real fine line, because personally, with me, I'm never going to let it define me. I'm also not going to romanticize it, because I know what happens when I wake up in the morning and I can't move my hands. I can't make a fist. I want to just do a normal stretch and my hands are like stuck in position. Or I want to go do my nails and the nail tech is trying to bend my finger and I'm literally just biting my tongue so I can feel pain elsewhere. But guess what? I still go and do my nails. Don't look at them. But I still go and do my nails monthly. I still try and do my hair when I can. If not, I'm going out and getting my hair done. I'm finding joy outside of this illness, because those are the things I've always loved. Those are the things I always did. Okay, I'm finding variations on ways to do it. I used to do my own hair. Now, my mum might do my hair, or I'll go out and get my hair done. Or if I'm feeling good, I'll experiment. So yeah, like I said, support system over here. Follow at Lady Logic the pod on Instagram, because that is where I'm going to be putting a lot of information, a lot of things that I've been doing to feel better. And also, I'm just going to be raising awareness, so it'll be good for anyone else who's going through the same thing or relates. It doesn't have to be arthritis. Like I said, there's over 80 autoimmune diseases. But yeah, let's all come together. Okay, I've got 3 questions I want to leave you guys with. You can put it in the comment section, or you can put your answer in my DMs and we can have a little chat if you want some support, like I said. So yeah, first question. What's one thing people don't understand about your illness? 2, what's something you've had to grieve because of your health? And 3, do you feel represented online? And if not, what do you think needs to happen to raise a bit more awareness on your specific illness? So yeah, guys, I just want to leave you with this. Some days my body wins, some days I win, but every day I am here and I'm going to live my life to the fullest, and that's what I want for all of us ladies. So yeah, I guess I will see you guys in my next one. Don't forget to follow the Instagram page and the TikTok at Lady Logic Pod. And yeah, thanks for listening. Call it what you want, a mystery, a topic, but round here we run on Lady Logic. Yeah, it's that Lady Logic, can't be not the top.